after a couple of weeks of disruption, all three Sky Bet leagues were in action today, and we'll have the best of the action for you.
Michael Gray's here to give us the pros view tonight, and we welcome Chris Uolumo, former teammate of Michael at Wolves, as our special guest this evening. Fair few clubs, actually, between the two of you. Any idea just how many?
I've not got a clue how many, but I can only remember half of Chris's. Some small ones in there.
24.
That's right, total of 24, 8 promotions between the two of you as well, so no real excuse for not knowing what you're talking about tonight.
No, absolutely. You'll have plenty more from the boys a bit later on. But we are going to start tonight with a fascinating game with a juicy managerial subplot.
Yeah, 1 year ago today, Neil Redfern was manager of Leeds and Steve Evans was managing Rotherham. In May, Redfern lost his job at Leeds in really messy circumstances. Then in September, Evans left his job at Rotherham. Rotherham appointed Redfern to replace Evans in October, and Massimo Cellino completed the swap by naming Evans head coach of Leeds just days later.
Well, Sol Bamba of Leeds was born just outside Paris, and today he laid a wreath at Elland Road. This game, as with many today, started with a minute's silence to remember those lost in the terror attacks in France. And your commentary comes from Paul Walker.
Cook again. Header inside from Dallas. Now it's Mowatt. Cries of shoot, understandable given his recent record in front of goal. But that one not up to the usual standard. Of course, a lot of these young players were given their chance by Neil Redfern. Dallas winning the header. Antonucci back to Dallas, who's got goal sign of Matter. Pulled behind Wood and struck by Mowatt, and it's a terrific save from Lee Camp. Danger appeared to have gone as it's played behind Wood, and look at that from Camp. Gets across his goal extremely well. It was Leeds that created the best chance and only chance really of the game so far, and they're looking to start positively with Antonucci. Well, barely seconds into the second half, and Antonucci goes desperately close with this one. What a start that would have been. Over the top it goes. Antonucci will receive it. He lost his footing. And Buxton finds Clark Harris. First touch too heavy. He's managed to keep it moving. Smallwood, good-looking ball into Newell. This. It's Joe Newell against Belushi. Still he goes. And push sideways. Toffolo might fancy his chances. Doesn't take it. Clipped over the top. Newell free header. The Championship's bottom club lead Elland Road. Joe Newell's first for the club. Newell heavily involved. He keeps the attack moving, finds Smallwood, and when the ball comes over, he's got a free header. Where was the marking? Newell plants it beyond Marco Silvestri. And Rotherham lead against their old manager. Joe Newell makes it Leeds United 0, Rotherham United 1. Antonucci, Mowatt, Wood, runner through the centre is Murphy. He's found him as well. It's Luke Murphy! Right, took a deflection on its way through. It's a lovely ball from Wood. It went off Harry Toffolo and away from goal. Antonucci away from Smallwood. He's got nobody on the right. It's all through the middle, this. And Wootton eventually does get forward from right back. Lofted in, right in towards Wood. Good knock down, Antonucci! What a chance. That is the kind of chance that he normally puts away. Played in by Wootton. It's a good knockdown from Wood. And Antonucci smashes it wide of the post. Broadfoot might just have put him off. Just 9 wins in their last 51 league games, Rotherham United. But this would be a very big one if they can see it through. They'll keep them right in touch down the bottom. Oh, Bafta's here, Berardi pushing Best to the floor, and Belushi intervenes to calm it down. And Berardi is incandescent with rage. Well, there's a flailing arm possibly from Leon Best into the face of Berardi, and that is the reaction from him. Oh, there is an elbow. Oh, that's naughty, really, from Leon Best. When you see it from that angle, you can understand why Berardi has reacted the way that he has done. Well, the pair of them are going, but are refusing to leave the field. They can complain as much as they like, but the referee, Keith Stroud, has made his decision, and that decision is to show red cards to Leon Best and Gaetano Berardi. And Leon Best on his debut is sent off. Look at the state of his nose. That may well be broken. And Rotherham are almost there. Well, these fans have seen enough. Pushed wide by Belushi. Antonucci against Buxton, steered in low. Back to Antonucci again. Deeper this time, Wood is in there and straight at camp. It's a good chance. It's more than a good chance. Then it goes, and Wood does well to connect with this. Heads it straight at the goalkeeper. Here's Grant Ward. Maybe icing on the cake yet. It's Grant Ward for Rotherham. Good save, Silvestri with his legs. Well, that would have been some finish, wouldn't it? Grant Ward breaking away. It's a tight angle, gets it on target. And Silvestri steers it away with his leg.
The fact that Steve Evans was in the opposite dugout, did that help fire up your players?
Well, you know, our lads have been doing OK, you know, not getting the rub of the green and not getting the results, and we've had a real tough run. We've played everybody in the top 10, you know, and now we've come up against somebody, you know, who we think we can beat, and, you know, we've put a performance on. You know, we were really front foot from the start, created the chances, took us goal well when it came, and I thought we defended to a man really resolutely, and there were a real togetherness about us, which we're going to need, and, you know, it's going to stand us in good stead.
We didn't play well today. It became more of a battle, and you tend to get that against teams that are down there. But you know, we'll congratulate Rotherham, congratulate Neil, and we'll go back on the training ground tomorrow. It's an absolute disgraceful elbow, and to see the boy Berardi for reacting to a smashed nose and face of pushing someone in the chest. I'll speak to the referee. Listen, he's a good referee, but he's called the second one wrong. The first one he gets right. It's just an absolute shocking challenge.
Well, Steve Evans said it was a disgraceful, you know, elbow in the face from Leon Best. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I've got to say I totally agree. You know, I think the referee's got it spot on. It's definitely intentional. Obviously, a little bit of argy-bargy, but you know, I think caught up in the occasion on his debut. You know, he's usually a calm head as well.
But you're saying definitely intentional. I mean, at what stage do you cross the line between being a physical player and trying to, you know, use your strength to get an advantage and an elbow in the face?
Well, that's it exactly. You know, I think you use your body, you get your arm across the front, but the way that he brings his arm down and it's elbow to face there, no place for that in the game.
Do you have a little bit of sympathy for Berardi though, because you know if you get an elbow in the face,
you're going to react.
Chances are you're going to react.
100% you're going to react, but like you say, the referee's got that spot on. 2 wrongs don't make a right.
No, absolutely. You can't react like that, and he has to go. But some sympathy with him, perhaps, in that circumstance. George, what else have we got?
Well, it's been a busy old week in the life of Steve Clarke. On Tuesday, all was pretty calm at Reading, and Nigel Pearson was the favourite for the vacant Fulham manager's job. Then on Wednesday, Steve Clarke's odds shortened to 12-1 on for the job at Craven Cottage, and it emerged Fulham had received permission to speak to Clarke, so everyone assumed he was on his way. But on Thursday, Clarke confirmed he'd be staying at Reading after all, having rejected the chance to join the Cottagers. So despite all the speculation, all the talk, it was status quo for Clark and the Royals, who today faced Bolton.
Having made the decision to stay at the Medeski, Steve Clark knows he'll be under close scrutiny from fans in the coming weeks. The best way to win over those who were angry he even contemplated leaving is to win matches. And after goalkeeper Ali Al-Habsi had kept out Mark Davis with one of 3 good saves early on, Reading gradually took control. The opening goal came when Lucas Piazon pounced on the hesitancy of Prince Guano and then managed to squeeze the ball beyond Ben Amos. 6 minutes later, things got even better for a Reading side who'd failed to win any of their previous 5 championship matches, as they added a second through Danny Williams. 2-0 down with just 34 minutes played, things looked bleak for Bolton, who went into the game with the worst goal-scoring record in the division. Just 10 in 16 league matches almost became 11 in 17 when Shola Amiobi headed against the crossbar. And they were given an even better chance to score with 10 minutes left, as referee James Linnington decided Oliver Norwood had fouled Darren Pratley in the penalty area. Liam Feeney stepped up to make it 2-1, but Bolton remained winless away from home this season, while Steve Clark's hectic week ended with 3 vital points.
It's not about building bridges, it's about the team performing well and winning every week. My job as the manager of the football club is to make sure that we get those results. Today was a nice 3 points for us, and we'll look to build on it next week.
So Fulham's first team coach Peter Grant bore the managerial burden at MK Dons with all the mangled emotions that can bring, like the satisfaction of watching your side pass their way into a terrific position and the anguish of the seemingly impossible miss. An aberration from Moussa Dembele which allowed MK Dons to seize the initiative instead. A much fairer reflection of the balance of play, courtesy of the man whose match winner secured their only points in the previous 5 games, Dean Bodic. Little chance, though, that Dembele would let the home club off the hook twice. The teenager just named the Football League Young Player of the Month, levelling the scores. Even though Steve Clark couldn't be swayed, some potential bosses would relish working with the young Frenchman and Ross McCormack, whose shot was cleared off the line by Kyle McFadzean, denying the caretaker a win to kick off his time in charge.
As long as Mr. Can and Mike Rigger are happy with me doing the job, I'll be delighted to do it. As I say, to help them, give them time to get the man in, the correct man, as I say, to get them to the Premiership. That's what they want to do, that's what they want to be.
So, Steve Clark staying put, Michael, but there was another man starting a new job today, actually, at one of your former clubs.
Yeah, obviously Paul Lambert. But I have to say, I think you have to give great credit to what Gary Bowie did at that football club. He's brought stability back there, and we needed that. But Paul's obviously taken over the reins now, and what a wonderful start he got off to today as well. And he'd be very pleased with his players because they put in a performance for him. A difficult place to go. Obviously, we know Preston have had a lot of clean sheets, but they got off to a really good start. And Jordan Pickford will not want to see this again, but unfortunately for him, you know, it's something that he couldn't do anything about. But I think, you know, Paul's obviously, I mean, he wants to do well. It's a great football club. And I said, you know, they needed to get off to a good start, and it was nearly the opposite through Paul Gallagher there. But Steele gets that one on the second attempt as well. But this was always going to be a tight encounter. You know, Preston not conceding very many as well. But I think the way that Blackburn approached it as well, they wanted to try and go out. They wanted to try and win this football match, and that's exactly what they did. You know, Paul would have been in there, he'll have been itching for this game coming around. It's all right training with your new players, but you want to get out onto that pitch on a match day and perform. And this is the bit that I'm talking about here as well. It's just so unfortunate. It's actually Paul Gallagher, the ex-Blackburn player, who clears it off the line there as well.
It's one of those, you see it first time, you've no idea what happened.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, we've seen it 3 or 4 times, and Pickford can't do anything about it. But I think on this one here as well, Paul Hunting has got to have a look at himself as well here. I mean, you've got Chris Taylor running into the area there. You cannot make silly challenges like that in the box. Oh, 100%, yeah. There's no question about it. And I think the players know that as well. This is why he gets the yellow card. And when you want somebody to stick the ball in the back of the net, there's nobody better than Jordan Rhodes. He's done it year after year now, whichever club that he's been at. I'm so pleased he's still at Blackburn Rovers.
20+ goals in all 3 seasons.
It's incredible.
For Rovers.
It really is. But that wasn't the end of it. You know, I think obviously Preston trying to get themselves back into the game. And actually another ex-Blackburn Rovers player, Joe Garney, was there as a kid when I was there, getting his first goal of the season. That really surprised me when I read that.
He was on a 16-match run without a goal, his worst spell since
unbelievable
summer of 2013.
Yeah, because I mean there was big shouts for him to be the next Alan Shearer when he was a kid at Blackburn Rovers, but yeah, unfortunately he's having a difficult time at the moment.
There's one more bit of action. There's 2 yellows in succession for Bailey Wright.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, you know, I think both of them are yellow cards. You know, when you look at both the decisions, you know, both took backs exactly on the same player as well. And Simon Grayson didn't want that. You know, they've had a nice little run at the moment. I said about the clean sheets, 540 minutes, I think, before today as well. They hadn't conceded a goal, so that was great for them. But a wonderful start for Paul Lambert, his new reign at Blackburn Rovers. And I'm really pleased for him. You know, I think it was well there, taking the players to see the away fans as well was a nice touch.
Yeah, he'll certainly take that, will Paul Lambert. Well, David Wagner's first game in charge. We will see that when we return. And later in the show, the race for the top of the Championship, which is really hotting up. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Football League tonight, where we've already seen Paul Lambert's first game in charge of Blackburn. Next up, it's David Wagner and the prospect of a Dortmund-esque pressing game coming to Huddersfield. Wagner wanted to, quote, bring some influence from Europe and Germany and mix it with good old English football culture. Well, let's see how that turned out against Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough.
Wagner expects Huddersfield to take a while to adapt to his ideas, and this promised to be a demanding introduction to the English game against a club playing some of the most exciting football in the Championship this season. Fernando Forestieri's header wide was arguably Sheffield Wednesday's best effort in a first half short of scoring chances, which left the way clear for Wagner's men to give their hosts a shock after the break when Kyle Dempsey spotted that Sean Scannell had lost his marker. He enjoyed his first of a season, but protecting that lead threatened to be the biggest challenge for a club who conceded 9 in their last 4 games. And with Forestieri leading the charge, Huddersfield were carved apart. Dempsey's last-ditch block counting for nothing as Lucas João snapped up the loose ball. Only 12 minutes to go, but Forestieri was just getting started, testing Joe Murphy before teeing up Kieran Lee. Wednesday set for their 5th home league win of the season, as many as they managed in the whole of the last campaign. João underlining how far they've come under their foreign coach. Huddersfield will hope Wagner settles as quickly.
Forest travelled to West London keen to build on a confidence-boosting victory over Derby in their last match, and they might have led when Nelson Oliveira forced a good save out of David Button. But they've been struggling on the road in recent weeks, without a point or a goal in their last 3 away days. And they had that sinking feeling again when Harley Dean nodded the ball into the path of Sergio Caños with just over an hour played at Griffin Park. Dean's next contribution to the match threatened to be costly, though. His foul on Daniel Penillos was followed by a flailing arm in the direction of Johnny Williams, and referee Brendan Malone showed Dean the red card. It left Brentford with 20 minutes to hang on with 10 men. They lasted just 3. They failed to deal with Matt Mills's cross, and Henry Lansbury created just enough space to shoot beyond Button and make it 1-1. But it was to be the defeated home side who came up with a winner 6 minutes into stoppage time. Philip Hoffman's shot took 3 different deflections on its way into the far corner, and Brentford had their first home win over Forest since 1949. It could be a winning farewell for Lee Carsley.
I think that was pretty much my last game, so I'd expect a new manager to be coming in the next couple of days. So it's an experience that I've enjoyed, and I look forward to, you know, going back to my role now.
The internationals could have been better timed for Ipswich. The momentum from back-to-back wins needed to be regained, and Jonathan Douglas showed the way, adding to the goal he scored in the 5-2 thumping of Rotherham a fortnight ago. But despite their record of 1 win in 6, Wolves proved to be made of sterner stuff. James Henry took them to the break on level terms. One man who definitely didn't mind the interruption to the domestic season was Daryl Murphy, who spent his time helping the Republic of Ireland reach Euro 2016, and, like Douglas, picked up where he left off with his club after a hat-trick last time out. Victory would have left town just a point shy of the top 6, but they were let down by a lapse at the back that saw Benica Phobie leaping unmarked to earn Wolves a second successive draw.
Well, one of the stories that's developing after that game is that it looks like Lee Carsley is going to be in charge of Brentford for the last time, and that they're set to appoint the Swansea assistant Pep Clotet instead of Lee Carsley. Now, Carsley said he didn't want the job from the beginning. Yeah. He's now said, that's probably the last time I'm going to be in charge. Are you surprised that having such a good record as their manager, even over 9 games, that he's decided not to give it a go?
Yeah, very surprised. You know, I think he's got the experience, he's been coaching, and to be fair, he's went in there and he's got a reaction from the players. The job was his till the end of the season, as it's came from above. I'm very surprised. You know, it's the only thing I can think of is expectation. As a manager, there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that managers have to deal with. But I'm very surprised that he's walking away.
Maybe he's taken a look at the stuff you have to do behind the scenes and thought, that's not for me, which is possible. Huddersfield, though, have made a permanent appointment in David Wagner. Lots made about his style of football, about this Jurgen Klopp-style pressing game and the way that he's going to play. You think that they've got another benefit from bringing him in?
No, definitely. You know, I think obviously with the development squad, the 23s at Dortmund, he comes in, and I think nowadays it's all about bringing youngsters through. You know, League One, League Two. That's what the kind of the orders that come from above. Can you bring young players through and then maybe sell them on, and it helps out the club kind of survive. You know, but I think Wagner comes with some great experience, and if he can put that style of play, it's going to be fitness levels, a lot of expectation there, but I'm sure he can deliver.
Yeah, but it's going to be a bit longer term than just a few games.
100%. So it's a long-term plan.
And it seems, George, like it's all about managers today.
Yeah, I guess so. From new managers to an interim manager. Well, actually, an interim manager, if there is such a thing. Kevin Blackwell took QPR to Middlesbrough on Friday night because Neil Warnock wasn't able to go. Blackwell had only been at the club for a week. Isa Karanka spent that week talking up the quality in the Rangers squad. But he really needed a response from his own players after a 3-0 hammering at Hull last time out. Commentary of this one from Don Goodman and Bill Leslie.
Kevin Blackwell down on the bench, called in as assistant to Neil Warnock just before the last match, the draw against Preston. Could be a problem here. That's an absolutely superb piece of defending, but it's come back to Fabrini. Downing blazes over. Well, what a challenge that was by Anua, a goal-saving challenge from the skipper.
How about that? For timing and intervention from Nottm Anua.
Lovely dip of the shoulder by Fabrini. Here's Ledbetter. Downing and Sue. The skies pass beautifully to Adoma. Oh, it's back off the post. Nugent looks to the heavens. It was a delicious build-up.
Oh, outstanding football. Really good movement from Albert Adoma. Gets in behind Konchesky, picks out Nugent. Doesn't get quite enough on it to take it inside that far post.
Fowling standing over it. Fowling takes, goes for power. Punched away by Dimi Konstantopoulos. There's Fair. Helped on by Fowling. Here's Ewan. And that's the closest the Queen's Park Rangers have come.
Wow, how has that stayed out? That is remarkable. And I dare say that a Charlie Austin would have bundled that into the net, and Middlesbrough have just had a big escape.
Well, persistence pays off here for Matty Phillips. They're going to drive inside Gibson, still going Phillips. No power in the shot from Leroy Fair.
Gets the ball a little bit stuck under his feet. Rolls to Leroy Fair, gets no power.
Sandro. Perch. Henry. Sandro. Fair moves it on before Clayton could get there to Fowling, who looks for Phillips. Onside! It's a head-in-hands moment for Matty Phillips.
Good contact. I think it gives his team the lead.
Fair. Phillips couldn't hold it, now Downing. Good run this from Downing, but he couldn't find Fabrini. Queen's Park Rangers manned that defence well, but they've given it away. Straight to George Friend!
Space opens up again. Lots of power, no direction. Doesn't really matter how, you've got to find a way. Can they carve out one more goal-scoring opportunity?
Overhead, saved by Green. They're appealing it's across the line. The assistant on the far side is flagging. And the referee will go over and have a word. Oh, a red card. Well, clearly, Leroy Fair must have handled it on the line. That's what the assistant has seen. So we'll have a penalty kick here, you would think.
Brilliant from the assistant referee on the far side. The referee missed it. We in the ground missed it. Justice has been done.
It may seem harsh, but it's Fair sent off. And now Ledbetter with a chance from 12 yards to win this one for Middlesbrough deep into stoppage time. Now this is very much clear. Ledbetter against Green. Ledbetter never misses from the spot, and he scores again for Middlesbrough. Sparking celebrations, they've had to wait. Goodness me, they've had to wait. But it looks like they've gone and got the win. Well, they say Aitor Karanka's a cool customer on the touchline. His reaction tells you everything you need to know about what this one means.
Yeah, late drama and another clean sheet, Chris, for Middlesbrough. They just don't, well, as we see, they don't concede. They keep plenty of clean sheets onto that man, Aitor Karanka, and that's another one, 50 in 108 games. Wasn't a particularly good game, I didn't think this, but one key incident, which we're going to take a look at again. Obviously a handball, obviously a penalty, the goal, the victory. But did he even need to?
No, I've got to say, I think the referee's got it spot on. I've got to say Rob Green has it covered, but I guess it's reaction. But I've got to kind of applaud the refs. They get a lot of stick. The linesman, I think, gave this one, spot-on decision.
But the defender's not there, the keeper saved it.
Exactly, I think Rob Green's got it covered, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, but it's a reaction thing, Leroy Fair.
What a penalty as well.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, I think they had a lot of the ball last night that never really created much. QPR were organised.
And that was the difference in the end. Neil Warnock, by the way, only expects one more game in charge before a new man is appointed at Queen's Park Rangers. And have a look at this. Tomorrow's Football League paper reporting that the Hoops are ready to appoint Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank as the new manager. His current club, Burton Albion, say they've had no approach. The paper, though, says the move is almost certain to happen. We'll have more from the top of the Championship in just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back.
Hello, welcome back. Now, the panel investigating corruption allegations at FIFA today said that Sepp Blatter and Michel Platini should face sanctions when hearings start next month. But they're not yet making public what those sanctions should be, or indeed what their findings even are.
Well, the two men, presidents of FIFA and UEFA respectively, are both suspended at the moment, but both deny any wrongdoing. On Monday, Channel 5 will screen a new documentary on the fall of Blatter's FIFA.
Scandal, arrests, corruption.
They corrupted the business of worldwide soccer to serve their interests and to enrich themselves.
We can expect a lot more arrests.
Now Sepp Blatter, football's king for nearly 2 decades, is finally being forced from power.
I've been to FIFA headquarters, and it's very much how you would imagine the villain in a Bond movie to have his lair.
Are you concerned at some stage you might be arrested?
Arrested for what? Next question.
And we reveal how Blatter still plans his greatest shock yet, to carry on at football's top table.
So there you are, Sepp Blatter exposed, the fall of FIFA, Channel 5 Monday night at 9 o'clock. Where were we? Back to domestic action, I think. We'll continue with games affecting the top of the Championship now. Hull City were top going into the weekend. 5 wins in a row and 5 clean sheets as well. The main reason for that, well, according to Steve Bruce, it's centred around the immaculate defending of Michael Dawson.
Which leads us to arguably the most exhilarating stat of the day, which is another clean sheet this lunchtime at Bristol City would equal a club record. Your commentary comes from David Prutton and Daniel Mann.
Here's El Mohammadi. A bit of foraging by Diame, but one back by Nathan Baker, who's certainly made a real impression in his time here at Ashton Gate, as has Luke Freeman, who will seek out Kodje here, and this is a really promising start.
Does right, Jonathan Kodje, to set the shot up.
Maguire on Agar, but advantage played, and now another touch from Harry Maguire right on the edge of the penalty area. He was certainly living very dangerously there, Harry Maguire, on a couple of counts.
It is just outside. Very much got two hands there.
Freeman misses it. And some real work for McGregor to do.
A lot of bodies in there in front of Alan McGregor. Deals with it very, very well.
Livermore, Huddleston. It might open up for Maguire here! Oh. And Fielding's hands really stung by that.
I must say the goalkeeper deals with it very, very well. A lot of power by Harry Maguire generated.
Here's Ayling. And it broke kindly for Bennett and Robertson. Feeling he had to take the cynical route there. There's a yellow card that will cost him a suspension as well.
Very obviously a foul, very obviously a booking by Andy Robertson.
Bennett waits on the edge of the box, and he's going to go in there now. Freeman plays it in, Fleetwood's up, where's it going to drop? They're all over the place, Agar puts it in! And Hull City do pay the price! Well, there has been a succession of set pieces, and Bristol City make one count.
Nobody from Hull City deals with it, and Kieran Agar there right on the money to turn it in. As you quite rightly said, Dan, the quality of the set pieces from Bristol City has been absolutely on the money.
El Mohammadi again. Derek Williams in the way on that occasion. Hull City looking for a swift answer. Well, Maguire just beaten to it. Oh, and fizzed in by Livermore, and Fielding with a tremendous save.
Top stuff here from Frank Fielding.
Clucas. And Clucas will get it back.
Has gone roaming looking for the ball, Sam Clucas. It's a neat little 1-2 which opens it up.
Well, these teams tend to do well in front of the cameras. Steve Cottrell enjoy a TV date, and they're enjoying it at the moment. Oh, and that was nicely done by Jami. No flag, Maloney! Expertly finished. And that extra bit of quality has paid off for Hull City. The leaders find a way back.
What we didn't see too much from Diame and Akpom was the combination play. The back line of Bristol City's all over the place. It allows Sean Maloney to gamble on the flick by Mo Diame. It's just a stick out of a leg by Diame, but it sets up Maloney so well. He takes his time, he waits. Very coolly done by Sean Maloney.
Diame, he's going to put his foot through this.
But it's a good try in the end.
Lucas. And Robertson has managed to slip away. It's a threatening ball. Oh!
It's a great ball into the back post. And although he's reaching here, Aluko, he does see a lot of it, does manage to size it up, just comes off his shin rather than flush off his boot.
We want to be in that top half. We had a bit of a rocky start, but our form's really picked up, and results like this maybe six weeks ago we wouldn't have got. So credit to Oldham, a very good team, but we've really picked up our form, and hopefully we can continue.
Maloney!
He's always been, for me, a class act, and he's had to be patient to get his chance in the team. He's one of them great pros who's not knocked on the door and spat his dummy out, because a lot do. So fair play to him. He's took his chance today, trained ever so well all week again, and just shows when you do like that, you get the rewards.
Well, talking about rewards, Steve Bruce was saying that the clean sheets that Hull City have had in the previous 5 games have been largely down to Michael Dawson. As you saw in that, he came off injured in the first half, and Steve Bruce said it could be 3 or 4 weeks until he's back in the Hull City defence. So, worrying times for Steve Bruce, but for his opposite number, Steve Cottrell, that's a great point against a good Hull team and a mean defence. You know him, you've worked with him. What's Steve Cottrell like? What can they expect in the dressing room from him?
Yeah, I think he's a motivator. I think he's a fantastic coach. I've got to say, we never seen eye to eye all the time on many occasions. But yeah, I think they won League One at a canter. And usually that momentum kind of carries on to the Championship. But they found it very difficult. But, you know, it's they're starting to build and get results, and it's a massive point today. Yeah,
that's a big job, trying to step up just that level in quality, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The Championship is very, very difficult. A lot of big teams that are challenging, that are wanting to kind of step up. But I've got to say, they started slowly. They're slowly kind of gathering a little bit of pace now.
Yeah, and Hull City, of course, getting a point from that. And we'll have more from the top of the table when we return.
Welcome back to Football League tonight on Channel 5. So Hull held at Ashton Gate, and that keeps things pretty interesting at the top. Next up, we'll go to the iPro Stadium, where Derby were looking to keep the pressure up on the top 2 and build on a run that's seen them lose just once in their last 11 league games. They were taking on a Cardiff side who have been pretty resilient of late, keeping 5 clean sheets in their last 6 matches.
Cardiff boasted a decent record at Derby, unbeaten in their last 4 visits, something to cling on to when you're about to face a team so formidable at home. Kagiso Dekashwi wasn't far from edging City ahead, but after losing at Forest, Derby were doubly determined to get back to top form. Chris Martin, as usual, in the thick of the action, lining up George Thorne for the second-half opener that had the Rams on track to make it 5 successive victories on their own turf. That the 7th goal in the last 9 home games Martin had netted or set up. Most of the time, he's been the man getting the glory, but that time the striker's scoring touch went missing. It's the start of a key spell for Paul Clement's men, with Hull, Sheffield Wednesday and Brighton coming up next. And after Thorne's effort was saved by David Marshall, but followed up by Andreas Weimann, they'll be in fine spirits for the challenge ahead.
We had a lot of the ball, 70% in the first half, I think 65% overall, 20 shots, 10 on target, 650 passes, clean sheet, lots of positives, and another home win that keeps us right up in the mix.
Birmingham's hopes of sustaining a promotion challenge are being hampered by some poor results at home, and this always looked like being another frustrating afternoon. Jack Magoma came within a whisker of calming the anxiety at St Andrews, but it grew significantly with just over an hour played when Charlton took the lead. Tarek Holmes-Dennis provided the cross for Johnny Jackson, and Charlton's improvement under interim head coach Carol Fry was all set to continue. By contrast, Birmingham were heading for their 4th home defeat of the season, all of them against teams currently in the bottom half. When Holmes-Dennis denied Jonathan Grounds a late equaliser, Charlton had their first away win in the Championship. But Fry says he's happy to wait for his future to be decided.
For me, it doesn't matter. It's interim, and we see from week to week what happens. It will never affect my work. I work from early in the morning till late at night, and I give everything I've got, and I cannot give anything more than at this moment, and a title will not change it.
Here's the table then. Hull are now a point clear at the top after that draw with Bristol City. Brighton, who play Burnley on Sunday, are 2nd. Middlesbrough stay 3rd. They're above Derby on goals scored. Burnley are a point behind, but do have that match in hand. And Birmingham complete the top 6. At the other end of the table, will Bolton drop to the very bottom. They're now a point below Rotherham, who had that win at Leeds. MK Dons 3 points better off. They occupy the remaining spot in that relegation zone.
Well, the top 2 in League One played against each other. Coventry in 2nd place, at home to the leaders Gillingham. And it was all decided by half-time, Mickey.
It was a 45-minute blitz. Jacob Murphy had the time of his life in that 45 minutes. A great performance. I think Tony Mowbray will be very pleased. You know, when you've got the chance to go top of the table as well, this is the reaction you want from your players. Certainly playing at home as well. It's really nice to see them back there as well. But a mistake, obviously, for the first goal to let Jacob Murphy in. Actually looks like he's going to miss this with his left foot, but just gets enough on it to put it in the bottom corner. And it was just momentum from then on in. It really was, you know. It was a great performance from them, and I think you can see the camaraderie at this football club now, which is great. But, you know, this is, again, a big thing in League One. Set pieces as well. And Ben Turner just coming up with a header there as well to make it 2-0. But overall, I think, you know, we talk about the first 45 minutes, and it really was about that, you know, nice movement.
Or even just 11 minutes at the end.
Yeah, it was. That's exactly what it was. But again, keeper gets in no man's land again. But who's there again is Jacob Murphy to get his second one of the day. But absolutely brilliant for him, really pleased. And you know, after this one, he hat-trick ball as well. 6 goals in his last 3 games as well. And that's what you want. You want players in form. And I think Tony Mowbray is now getting his point across to his players. You know, the way they want to play, the way they're approaching football matches, getting it down and playing, but they're playing with a bit of style. And I'm really pleased with that. But I think just Edinburgh's got to look at his side as well. And I mean, he'll be happy with the second half performance. But
maybe,
I think
maybe
overall,
not that particular moment.
No, he won't be happy with that, no. But I think overall, you know, you look at the performance, yes, they still had the chance to stay top. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for them today as well. But they won the second 45 minutes. That's the plus that he's going to take out of this as well.
That's pretty much all you can do if you're 4-0 down at half-time,
No, most definitely, yeah. But it is game, set and match after half-time as well. But I think, you know, you look at the overall performance. Second half, they did get better, but it was too late.
What does it tell you about their promotion chances, or their chances of finishing top of the table?
Well, I think it's one of those games that you've just got to put to bed if you're just in Edinburgh and Gillingham. But I think overall, I think Tony Mowbray will be really, really pleased, because when you are playing second against first, what you want to do, you want to send a message out to everybody else in that league, and they certainly did that today.
Yeah, absolutely. George, what about the other challenges?
Yeah, let's have a look at some of those, Kelly. Now, elsewhere in the promotion race, Bury finally brought in Joe Dodu on loan from Leicester this week, 3 months after he scored a hat-trick against them in the League Cup. But Paddy Kenny terminated his short-term deal after picking up an injury. Pretty good form, I'd say, this from Kenny, who would have been entitled just to stay and collect his money. He decided not to do that. Well, today, Bury took on their promotion rivals, Burton.
Another important event in a busy week at Bury was the decision to rename the main stand after Neville, a former director of the club who died earlier this year. And a day when Phil and Gary's father was in everyone's thoughts brought a 1-0 win for Bury, courtesy of an own goal from Jerome Bingham-Williams. For Burton and their manager Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, it was one of those days. His team created chances of their own but couldn't take them. And they also came close to conceding again. Tom Pope's header cleared off the line. Burton began the game a couple of places and 5 points above their opponents in the table. That gap is now 1 place and 2 points. Kelvin Ituhu was denied a second for Bury by the fingertips of goalkeeper John McLaughlin and the crossbar, but Bury ran out 1-0 winners.
Walsall were targeting a return to the top 2, hoping to exploit Sheffield United's dip in form. And if Paul Downing was frustrated when his header hit the post, imagine how Milan Lalkovic must have felt soon afterwards after his spectacular attempt. The Saddlers set the pace through the first half with nothing to show for their efforts, a situation rectified just 6 minutes into the second from Romain Sawyer's centre. Nothing would stop Tom Bradshaw from getting into double figures for the season in League and Cup. But the Blades were going to prevent Walsall from reclaiming an automatic promotion spot. Sheffield United increasingly dangerous as the contest wore on, prompting manager Nigel Adkins to applaud the character of his side after Jose Baxter earned a share of the points.
Wigan can boast an impressive unbeaten home record, and they have some players who wouldn't look out of place at a higher level. Players like Yannick Wildschut, who was the driving force behind Alex Ravel's first goal for the club. Thankfully, Ravel had something planned specially for the occasion. Wildschut continued to make life uncomfortable for the Shrewsbury defence, and he almost set up a second goal for Tim Chow. But one was enough for Wigan, who are now just a point off the automatic promotion places.
Mark Robins made 4 changes from the side that lost last time out in an attempt to get Scunthorpe back on track. One of the players he kept faith with, Gary McSheffrey, was involved in the opener, not how he would have wanted, bringing down the dangerous Kyle Reid. That gave Tony McMahon the chance to score his second penalty in just 4 days. If the first goal was a gift, the second was all hard work and craft from Bradford. 4 players involved, 1 and 2 touch passing, and then a fine finish from Greg Lee. And just like the cup win midweek, Bradford were 2 up with goals from Lee and McMahon. Scunthorpe struggled to make a competition of it. This as close as they came through Kevin Van Veen. That's 3 2-0 wins in a row now for Phil Parkinson's side.
After a difficult start to the season, Millwall are now building a significant challenge, and they were too strong for a Colchester side struggling to stay away from the relegation zone. Lee Gregory broke away to score the opening goal after just 13 minutes, and he could easily have added a second as he threatened to exploit a growing uncertainty in the away side's defence. Once again, Gregory came face-to-face with Colchester goalkeeper Jamie Jones, and while he appeared to have won the battle again, his shot rebounded off the post this time. It didn't take long for Millwall to increase their lead, though. Shane Ferguson on loan from Newcastle with the goal this time after yet more poor defending by Colchester. It was a developing theme of the game, and it was clearly spreading. The only downside in the 90 minutes for Millwall manager Neil Harris, his side's defending for the goal which threatened to let Colchester back into it, scored by Chris Porter. But Millwall were the better side, and they scored twice more to set the seal on an impressive performance and inflict a third successive league defeat on Colchester. Ferguson's second of the game made it 3-1 after 56 minutes, and with 9 minutes left they scored again. Jones unlucky to see his save go straight to Byron Webster. It finished 4-1, and Millwall are now unbeaten in 9 games in all competitions.
Now to Lee Johnson, who insisted that Oldham against Barnsley wasn't all about him. But he has lost 8 in a row with Barnsley, and today he took on the club that he left to join the Tykes. So it was all about him, really. Let's take a look, Mickey, at the game itself, and let's see how he got on, because it didn't start particularly well as far as Lee Johnson was concerned.
No, I think obviously with the pressure on him like that, you know, having lost those 8 games as well, he needed a performance from his players, as did David Dunn as well, you know, the draw specialist of League One. But I think, you know, it was all about fight, grit and determination, certainly in this game as well. And that was what it was all about. You know, they weren't going to win pretty when, you know, you've got no form going into this game as well. But I think you have to say that, you know, Conor Hourihane there with the first goal, I mean, it's an absolute beauty. Can't wait to get back to Manchester after I've seen that weather as well. But, no, I think, you know, David Dunn, you know, he's getting something different out of his side. You know, they are working hard, obviously. We talk about there's many draws that they've had this season as well. Mark Yates actually does eventually come up with the equaliser for them, but I think, you know, you'd probably be happy with that at the end of the game. But said, you know, set pieces are important in this league. You know, Barnsley had a lot of opportunities in this, you know, to get that second goal and see this game off. We have to say, I mean, that's a wonderfully worked equaliser from Oldham, and David will be really pleased with that. I think he's went into to this football club. He's got the guys getting the ball down, playing some nice football. But when you think that the game's over, you know, you have to try and see games out. And I think, you know, if you are Joel Coleman there, the goalkeeper, he is 20 years old, you've got to try and get hold of that with your hands, and unfortunately for him, you know, it was the losing goal.
Yeah, so Oldham started well, but a little bit of respite perhaps for Lee Johnson. Now, coming up, we've got a team being run by children and one that spent most of the week in a hotel. And that's 2 different clubs, promise.
Welcome back, straight on with the action from League One now, and Doncaster Rovers, who had a junior takeover day today, with young supporters helping out with a number of jobs around the club, including, it seems, picking the team alongside Darren Ferguson. They took on Rochdale today.
Rochdale had gone 7 league games without a win and looked under pressure at the Keep Moat Stadium. Andy Williams close to adding to his 7 goals for the season. But in the second half, that pressure seemed to lift as Dale cut Rovers wide open with 2 simple passes. Donald McDermott and Callum Camps setting up Ian Henderson 6 minutes from time. The win was secured in injury time. Harry Middleton's soft back pass setting off a chain of events that would eventually lead to Henderson's second goal. That long wait for a league win over for Keith Hill's side.
Against Peterborough, a dreadful start to both halves saw Crewe create more problems for themselves. 6 minutes were showing when John Taylor heaped more pressure on beleaguered boss Steve Davis. And whatever he said at the interval failed to have the desired effect. The Rowwomen shipped another 2 in the first 2 minutes of the second half. Connor Washington got the first of them. It was little Erhanus Tuma who assisted on that goal. He was the game's standout player. teeing up informed Jermaine Anderson less than a minute later. Anderson scoring for the 4th consecutive game, and Nottm enjoying it too. The 5'3" midfielder then made it a hat-trick of assists, as the Football League's top scorers were 4 ahead within the hour, Liangol adding to Crew's humiliation. Bottom of League One, Alex have now suffered 8 defeats out of 11 in all competitions. Ryan Colclough pulled one back, but it didn't even serve to restore some pride, because Anderson was at it again on 82 minutes. His 6th of the season rounded off Posh's 4th win out of 5 in League and Cup. There was another lopsided scoreline in this relegation 6-pointer. An own goal by Adam El Abd gave Fleetwood the lead against Swindon, who were soon on their way to a 6th consecutive away defeat. Fleetwood ran away with it in the second half. David Ball tempted goalkeeper Lawrence Vigouroux into a rash challenge. Anthony Sarcevic buried the resulting penalty. And on a day where Fleetwood old boy Jamie Vardy was making goal-scoring history in the Premier League, it was a first senior goal for Town's newest striker, Everton loanee David Nnen, off the mark. Fleetwood don't do things by halves. They've won only 4 league matches at home since March, but every one has been by a margin of 4 goals. Tariq Fosu-Henry made a 4th 4-0 victory a possibility with just over 20 minutes to go. That particular sequence came to an end thanks to Swindon's Nicky Ajose. But his 5th goal in 6 matches was no cause for celebration, particularly as Fleetwood restored their 4-goal cushion soon afterwards. Bobby Grant had the final say with this, the goal of the game. Swindon drop into the relegation zone. Fleetwood are suddenly out of it.
Really proud of the players. They played with such intensity, such intent and such belief today. And although it was 5, it could have been 9 or 10.
Hats off to the Vale Park ground staff, who were busy before this one clearing the pitch of snow. But the game warmed up pretty quickly with 3 goals in the opening 10 minutes. Sam Kelly scoring his first ever league goal for the home side. That lead was short-lived. Ryan McGivern's attempt at a headed clearance only found Lee Novak in the right place at the right time to get Chesterfield level with just 8 minutes on the clock. Having scored the first of the game, Kelly then set up the third, laying on for AJ Leach-Smith to make it 4 in 3 games after failing to score in his first 16 appearances for the club. The second half started just as quickly as the first did, Louis Dodds making it 3-1 just 3 minutes in. But there wasn't a similar rush of goals, and the stadium announcer wasn't bothered again until the 90th minute, when substitute Rye Simmons got a late consolation past sub-keeper Chris Neal. The fact it was the best of the game mattered little to Chesterfield, who've lost 3 of their last 4 in the league.
With Phil Brown and Neil MacDonald both protégés of Sam Allardyce at Bolton, might we call this one the Big Sam Derby? Either way, it was won by Adam Thompson. His first ever goal for Southend was the perfect reward after 7 months battling back from a dislocated shoulder.
Here's the table then. Coventry top of the pile now, having equalled their best ever start to a league season. They replaced Gillingham at the Summit after beating them 4-1. Walsall stay 3rd. Wigan's win over Shrewsbury sees them move up to 4th. Burton fall to 5th, 2 points ahead of Bury, who beat them today.
And at the other end of the table, Crewe stay bottom after their defeat by Peterborough. Blackpool and Swindon, who also both lost today, are 3 points better off, while Barnsley's win wasn't enough to see them climb out of the relegation places.
Right, a look at League Two when we return, including a team that have spent most of the past week in a hotel.
First, though, your chance to enter our competition.
We have a bundle of brilliant gadgets to give away and a chance for you and your mates to watch your Sky Bet Football League team. Stay connected to all the latest league results, fixtures and news with an Apple iPad Mini 3, a Microsoft Lumia Windows Phone, an LG 42-inch HD LED TV, plus a Sony PS4 and the new FIFA 16 game, all courtesy of Breathe Sport. So, to be in with a chance of winning this awesome bundle, all you have to do is text GOAL to 65515 or post your name and phone number to Goal 6, PO Box 7557, Derby, DE1 0NP. Entrance must be 18 or over, dates subject to availability. Text costs £1.50 plus one message at standard network rate. Lines close at midday on the date shown on screen and 3 days later for postal entries. For rules, go to channel5.com/win. Good luck.
Hello, lots of talk about manager unrest today, but Derek Adams must be about the most secure manager in any division. 5 months into his tenure, he's recorded the club's best start to a season since 1958. A win in the Devon Derby would turn a good start into a great one. Home Park was sold out and jumping today for the visit of Exeter City.
12 wins from 17 games for Plymouth was the best record in the Football League before today. But when Kelvin Mellor brought down David Wheeler after half an hour, Exeter could sniff a surprise. Ryan Harley stepped up and scored his 4th of the season and put the Grecians in front. Plymouth brought keeper Christian Walton in on loan this week, back to the club where he started when he was just 8. But he had little chance after some fine individual work from Harley put the visitors 2-0 in front. The league leaders were in real trouble. Despite startling form in the league, Plymouth have lost 2 of their last 3, both in cups. And it fell to on-loan defender Oscar Threlkel to score his first senior goal. But a great scalp for Paul Tisdale's side in the Devon Derby.
I didn't think it was a smash and grab by any means. I thought it was a victory for a very good team working performance together. And of course we've got ability, everyone knows that in our league. And normally when we play a team at the top of the league, watch out because we get on it.
Making Kamar Roof's move to Oxford permanent over the summer is looking like one of the best bits of business in League Two. He provided the game's one moment of quality and now has 11 goals from midfield as Oxford maintain their position in second.
2 weeks' worth of November rain fell on Brunton Park in just 2 days, so they did well to get this game underway at all. A clumsy challenge from Pompey's Christian Burgess brought Danny Granger down. He picked himself up and put Carlisle in front just before half-time. Portsmouth have a decent record on the road this season, just 1 league defeat, and they were level in the second half when Keelan Lavery, on loan from Sheffield Wednesday, scored his 2nd of this campaign. The trip to Brunton Park is the longest Pompey fans will make in the league this season. Just under 1,000 had made the effort and were rewarded when 2 minutes later a defensive error allowed Mark McNulty to put Paul Cook's side in front. But any Pompey supporters who decided to make an early start for home had clearly forgotten last season when they conceded a late equaliser in a 2-2 draw at Carlisle. 5 minutes into added time, a great finish from Granger rescued a point for the Cumbrians.
Sean Derry admits he's still assessing his new squad. Barry Cord doesn't need much assessing. The club's top scorer at it again after just 13 minutes. Accrington boss John Coleman publicly called out Sean McConville this week, saying he doesn't convert enough chances. He answered his manager's criticism with a great finish. Luke Berry put the home side back in front before half-time after good work from Ryan Donaldson. But again, the lead didn't last. This time it was Tom Davies scoring his first goal for Stanley, although he got a great assist from Cambridge keeper Chris Dunn. And the game was completely turned around when Billy Key was brought down by sub Connor Newton. Ian Williamson pointed to the spot and Josh Windass did his thing. That's 5 goals from 12 yards for him now this season. A chip off the old block perhaps. I don't remember his old man Dean wearing gloves.
Mansfield fans have had little to cheer for the last month. No goals in the last 5 games, but were helped out when Hartlepool's Trevor Carson spilled across from Nathan Thomas and Matt Green was able to put the Stags in front. Ronnie Moore's side will be missing top scorer Billy Painter till February. They'll need luck like this with the ball hitting the back of Christian Pearce's head to draw Hartlepool level. As Mansfield have been struggling for goals, time to send for Adi Youssef. Just 2 minutes after coming off the bench early in the second half, a wonder strike to put the Stags in front. You wait a month at Mansfield for a goal, and then 3 come all at once. Good work from Lee Collins, and substitute Yusuf again allowed Green to score his second and confirm a first home league win for Adam Murray's side in 6 weeks.
It's a credit to the players and staff at Northampton Town that the off-field issues surrounding the club don't seem to affect on-field performances. Perhaps it's even spurring them on. Rod McDonald with the first ever professional goal to give them the lead. County gave 1,000 tickets away to young fans for this match. They finally had something to cheer when John Stead showed his poacher's instinct to equalise. But there's a gritty determination about Northampton at the moment, and a first goal after 4 months out injured for Brendan Maloney secured all 3 points and keep them in the promotion places.
Well, following that victory, the Northampton manager Chris Wilder tonight heavily implied that a takeover by Kelvin Thomas would be a brilliant solution for the club.
There is somebody there waiting for the deal to be done. Not trying to nick it, not trying to nick it. If it is £1, it's £1 plus. You know that, Joe. It's £1 plus the finishing of the stand, plus getting through to the end of the season, plus investment in the team, plus making us better, an all-round club. And we can't wait any longer.
Very passionate stuff from a man who clearly cares. Now, the weirdest story of the week has to be that of Leyton Orient, I suppose. They'd been on a bit of a bad run recently after losing to Hartlepool last week. Their chairman decided they needed a bit more togetherness, so he moved them into a local hotel and kept them there for the best part of the week. Let's see if it works.
4 nights in a 4-star hotel for losing to Hartlepool. How would Francesco Becchetti punish the O's if they lost to York? A spa weekend, maybe. Jack Payne wasn't prepared to find out. He hit the bar in the game's opening minutes before Matthew Beaudry put them ahead. The skipper departed injured soon afterwards and looked set for a stay in the treatment room. With half-time approaching, Orient improved their chances of going home this evening. John Marquis picked out Jay Simpson, who made it 2-0. But York, with only 1 win in 15 League and Cup matches, offered an instant response. Dane Oliver's deflected strike had Becchetti googling last-minute city breaks. But Leyton's travel agents were out of luck. The O's did the business in the second half. Simpson's 13th goal of the season clinched the points. And although another goal from Oliver made it a very nervy last few moments in East London, Orient will be sleeping in their own beds tonight. Well, that's the hope anyway.
I mean, there's been a big fuss made about it. You know, we got the boys together this week. I thought it was appropriate, and it's obviously paid off today, which is what it was all about.
Crawley came into this game looking for their 4th home league win on the trot, and after just 9 minutes they were in front. Rhys Murphy on loan from Oldham, and with 3 in his last 5 league games, putting them in front. Just over a minute later, it was 2-0 to Crawley, and again it was Murphy. Although he had options, he made the right choice with this stunning effort. A 5th away league win on the trot, looking doubtful for Rovers. But the Pirates dominated possession, and 3 minutes from time, Billy Bodin was taken down by Mitch Hancox. Matty Taylor stepped up to score his 3rd in a week. Too late though, Crawley have 5 wins from their last 7 league games.
Friends reunited at Kingsmeadow. Neil Ardley and Gareth Ainsworth were teammates in the Dons Premier League days. Wycombe's opener here had more in common with the Dave Bassett era. Jason McCarthy gave the Chairboys a lead they held until the 91st minute, when Adi Aziz levelled for Wimbledon. Another scrappy goal and a sickener for Wycombe, whose tiny squad has to endure 10 games in the next 6 weeks.
Jim Bentley was hoping his Morecambe side could put their FA Cup disappointment behind them, though he lamented their defensive record. Up front, a combination of Paul Mullin and Tom Barkhusen couldn't find a way past James Stephens. Barnet, by contrast, have a strong record at the Hive. 4 wins from 5 in the league. Top scorer Michael Gash provided a great chance for Josh Clark, unable to make it count.
Now, any idiot can watch El Clasico. It takes a connoisseur to appreciate the delights of the derby between Stevenage and Luton. For long periods, dogged defending by Teddy Sheringham's side held the Hatters at bay. But only the woodwork could keep out this Cristiano Ronaldo-style free kick from Danny Green. And El Hattico also finished with the traditional argy-bargy. Full-blooded stuff here from Luton's Paul Benson, whose challenge on Tom Conlon earned him a straight red card. Now that's entertainment. In your face, Luis Suarez.
This is Yeovil's first trip to Rodney Parade, and Harry Cornick came close early on. His header eventually cleared by Scott Bennett. Newport's position in the league is down to no home wins. On-loan striker Zach Answer denied in the first half. Answer goes back to Charlton at the end of November. John Sheridan's desperate to bolster his forward line. Both sides failed to find the net this week.
So Plymouth stayed top, but their lead's been cut to 2 points after they lost at home to Exeter. Oxford got their third league win in a row. They stay second, Northampton 2 points behind them. Accrington's victory means they swap places with Portsmouth and move up to fourth.
At the wrong end of the table, Dagenham and Redbridge stay bottom. They've now lost their last 3 league games. Yeovil continue to occupy the other relegation spot. They're a point behind York City.
So at the end of the day, it was definitely a case of Murphy's Law.
Yes, there was 1 goal for Darrell as Ipswich drew with Wolves.
Crawley's Reese hit 2 as they beat Bristol Rovers.
And you guessed it, Jacob Murphy topped the lot, 3 for Coventry as they went to the top of League One.
Thanks very much to Chris Iwelumo and to Mickey Gray for joining us on Football League tonight. But we're going to leave you with Rotherham manager Neil Redfern. Now, his old club Leeds refused him a free car park pass at Elland Road, so a win for him was just the ticket. See you next week. Good night.